Hours before Scott Brown's swearing in, the president swearing Democrats are not going to rein it in. Was that the message that Massachusetts residents sent? House Minority Leader John Boehner joining me right now. Mr. Minority Leader, good to have you. Thanks for coming.
Neil, good to be with you.
So it's full throttle on a lot of these spending initiatives, maybe a little less so on health care, Congressman, but certainly, if not more so, on some of these other measures. What do you make of it?
Well, Neil, actions speak louder than words. And while the president came to our retreat and talked about fiscal responsibility, trying to find ways to curb spending, 2 days later his budget comes out, and we got a budget that it spends too much, it taxes too much, and it borrows too much from our kids and our grandkids. And while they haven't talked a lot about health care, Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid are still scheming and plotting, trying to find some way to pass their massive government takeover of our health care system.
What did you make when Nancy Pelosi said, Congressman, by hook or crook, she didn't say whatever, but essentially, we'll climb a fence, we'll, nosedive in, and all this other nonsense about getting this through, even health care. So she's not giving up.
No, she's not giving up at all. And so it's the policies that are coming out of this administration and the liberals here in Congress that I think are holding back employers. They don't know what to do. They don't know whether this health care plan is going to pass with all these new tax increases that are in that plan. They don't know what the tax rates are going to be come the end of this year. And until there's some certainty out there in the marketplace, until employers feel more comfortable about what the future looks like and what Washington's going to do to them, I expect them to continue to sit on their hands.
The argument the president has is that's what you Republicans are doing, Congressman. Remember when he talked about the C-SPAN thing again? By the way, the C-SPAN, they don't need marketers now. Washington's providing it. But he says, well, we'll have a C-SPAN sit-down on health care, let's say. If the Republicans come and give us a measure of their own. I'm paraphrasing, but I think that's the gist of it. What do you make of that?
But, Neil, listen, you know as well as a lot of people that Republicans offered a number of plans. But when we had the bill on the floor here in the House, we offered our plan, which are 8 or 9 common sense steps that we can take to make our current health care system work better, allowing people to buy health insurance across state lines, dealing with junk lawsuits, helping those with pre-existing conditions. These are common sense ideas that we could work together on. But what we don't have are the other 100 boards, commissions, mandates that will set up this huge bureaucracy in the federal government so that the government can take over all of the decisions about our health care, which is what the American people are saying no to. And Massachusetts, it's not just health care they said no to. They said no to all these job-killing policies.
Let's say there is this sentiment that's building against Congress, the powers that be. I could be speaking right now to the next Speaker of the House. It's not unquestionable for the House to turn. So the pressure then would be on Republicans, if not now, down the road, to how much will you share power when you get the chance? Will you have closed-door meetings? Will you keep the Democrats out? Will you ignore their points? And back and forth we go. Any promises you want to make ahead of you becoming Speaker, I guess?
Neil, the American people sent us here to deal with the problems that we face in our country. Over the last year, Republicans have stood on principle against those policies that we disagree with coming out of this administration and this Congress. But each and every time we offered what we thought was a better solution, a solution rooted in Republican principles of empowering people, making sure that we keep freedom in America. And we do have big problems that we have to resolve. But you take the spending commission the president wants to put together. He doesn't want to put it together in a bipartisan way. He wants to stack the deck in favor
See, you're calling it a spending commission, and that's what ticks those guys off. The ones I talked to are still in the White House, by the way, which is no one.
I know,
but they get annoyed because it's a deficit commission, and you call it a spending commission, and it's a non-starter,
Well, what it is, it's cover for raising taxes. And the last thing that this economy needs right now are tax increases. Listen, when we got the budget balanced in the late 90s, we did it by holding the line on spending here in Washington and making sure that there was enough money left in the economy so that the economy could grow. And when you look at the number of jobs that were created in the late 90s and all the new employees that created as a result, federal revenues swelled, and we were able, in fact, to balance the budget. We need to get on a solid plan to bring fiscal responsibility to Washington. And the only way that's going to happen is if we can work together in a bipartisan way to, in fact, make it happen.
It's always easier said than done, though. But, Congressman, thanks for just very deftly avoiding the whole speaker thing with me. You're still sharp as a tack. Appreciate that. But, Congressman, always good seeing you. Thank you very much.
Nice seeing you.
All right, John Boehner. Well, Mr. President.